You're watching Bloomington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
My daddy said I'm still here.
We're back. New Hanover County Commissioner Ted Davis, who is just recovering from triple heart bypass surgery, the specialist that performed the operation and really saved Ted's life is Dr. Hank Marks, who's a thoracic specialist. And thank you both for being here. We're talking about Ted's recent triple heart bypass surgery. So you're in the hospital with Jane, your wife, and Dr. Marks is consulting with you, and he says, we're going to open you up, and you have to have, did you know it was triple at the time? Or?
I did.
You did?
I had looked at the movie pictures,
You
the
could
cardiac catheterization, I could tell.
And you got to have triple heart bypass surgery. So what's your reaction?
Well, I was in the room, and I knew something was up. And Hank came in and told me about that. Of course, I was shocked because I didn't think that was going to be to that extent. And actually what scared me the most was this was a Wednesday morning. I was mentioning earlier that the catheterization was done, and Hank wanted to operate on Friday. And I sat there and said, well, no, I can't do that.
Too much to do.
Well,
right?
true. I said, number one, I can't close a law practice down in one day. My son and his fiance's family were going on a trip to Mexico. He wouldn't have done that. Amy's in my daughter in Shreveport, Louisiana, who was going to come home for Christmas anyway, would have had to leave early. So I said, no.
Is that a strange reaction? You're saying, excuse me, your life's hanging on the line, but you're worried about your law. I mean, is that a strange reaction as a physician?
It's either that or can you operate on me right now?
Because I got so much to do.
It's either immediately or can we put it off for a little bit of time?
So you wanted to put it off?
We did it the Monday after Christmas.
Okay, so that was like what, 2 weeks?
A little more than a week.
A little bit more than a week.
But that enabled me to enjoy Christmas with my family, and which was very important to me.
All right, so you get to the hospital after Christmas, and we'll talk about that journey. But how long has heart bypass surgery been around?
Since the 50s.
Really? So it's...
Well, we now do it with a heart-lung machine, but there's some very famous pictures from the University of Minnesota when a healthy family member acted as the heart-lung machine for the patient undergoing heart surgery. It always wasn't bypass. So potentially back then in this new procedure, you could lose two people. Two people were at risk during the surgery.
How many have you done bypass?
Over 3,000.
Wow. How dangerous is the procedure today?
The procedure is, my definition of a dangerous procedure is anytime anybody touches me with a knife, okay? But in the whole spectrum of things, nationwide for trained cardiothoracic board-certified surgeons, there is less than 2.5% risk of dying. And in our practice, there's less than 1.5%.
Wow. You do you've done, what did you say, 2,000 in your life?
About 3,000.
3,000 in your life. How many are done on an annual basis? Do you have any concept of that in America?
I should, but I'm just aware. Our practice, we do between 550 and 600, at one time up to 650 open heart procedures a year, of which about 70% of those are coronary artery bypass grafting.
So you walk into the hospital, you and Jane, and it's the day of the surgery, and take us through what you remember.
I gave it a lot of thought, and the thing that I had peace of mind, and really my faith in God, the love I have for my family, and the total trust I had in that man and his staff over there, plus our New Hanover Regional Medical Center. I mean, it really, all that put together, I was never really scared of dying.
Is that important that a patient feel at a high level of comfort going into the operation? Does that have any bearing on how things?
There are two things that have a lot of bearing. One is their faith and the trust in the hospital, the organization, and the surgeons, and that they're highly motivated to get well. And without those things, folks don't do well.
All right, so you're at ease, you're comfortable, they get you into a room, I guess they eventually put you on a stretcher, start wheeling you down to the operating room.
First they shave you from about head to toe. So I look like a billiard ball. But yeah, basically they
Okay, and you're
take
wheeling,
you.
and you're still awake
at that point.
at that point. So
They give you a little something to make you drowsy
to relax you,
before they
but
give
you're still
you
awake and
the big.
you know what's going on.
I remember going into the room. I remember seeing the anesthesiologist. I can't remember if I remember talking to Hank or not.
Right. So they wheel you, so the what's your last memory before they put you out?
Once again, I can remember the anesthesiologist, and I remember people being in the room. And once again, I can't remember specifically if I talked to Hank or not.
And
the
then-
next thing you know, you just wake up.
You just wake up. I'm curious, how long from the time you entered college until you performed your first heart surgery? How long is that process for?
Well, there are 4 years of college.
Right.
There's 4 years of medical school. There's 5 years of general surgery, and there are 2 to 3 years of cardiac surgery, heart surgery.
So it's 16 years before you.
It's a long time.
That's a long commitment. Wow. Did you you knew that going in?
I did.
That's amazing. That amazes me because we're such a fast food society. We want everything now, and most people want their careers now. Did you have your eye on the? Did you have your eye on the prize the whole time? You knew what you wanted.
I did. I knew I wanted to be a surgeon, and then partway through my training, I knew I wanted to be a cardiac surgeon.
What was it like to do your first procedure?
It was wonderful.
It was.
It was wonderful. Cardiac surgery is a great field. When you think of it, and I told you that we make over 98% of our patients well, and I mean, thank goodness. And it isn't just me; it's a whole team of people we have. My partner has looked in on Ted because I'm not on call every minute. We have physician's assistants. We have about 10 people in the operating room who are all focused on Ted. We have recovery unit nurses who do nothing but cardiac surgery.
This was a calling for you?
I guess. I love what I do. I feel very fortunate that I get to get up every morning and do it. If you have to go to work every day, it's a wonderful thing to do.
We'll come back. So Ted wakes up, and when we come back.